Welcome back to What If Cars. It came not with a roar, but with a silence so thick it demanded reverence. The 2026 Lincoln Town Car SUV, unofficial and uninvited, arrived like a myth reborn. Not just a machine, but a message. Black. Absolute. The kind of black that erases lines, that absorbs thought. You don't see this SUV, you vanish into it. And once you do, you begin to understand something Lincoln hasn't said in decades, that the past wasn't abandoned. It was waiting. You hear its name and assume nostalgia. But this isn't a nostalgia act. This is Lincoln rewriting its own gospel, one forged in quiet dignity and long wheelbase authority. They haven't just taken the town car badge and stretched it over an SUV. They've forged a new creature from steel, spirit, and shadow. This machine doesn't shout, it doesn't pose. It simply exists with the confidence of something that has nothing to prove. It is still, but not passive. Like a black hole with wheels, like memory carved into motion. The paint is called Black Celestial, but that's marketing. In truth, it's closer to antimatter, a finish so dark it doesn't just absorb light, it punishes it. There's no sparkle, no pearl, just pure liquid void. And it's that paint, that haunting skin, that gives the body its presence. The silhouette is long and monolithic, like a modernist cathedral trimmed in tension lines. There's no excess, no visual noise. It's not styled to impress you. It's styled to outlast you. Everything flows, roof to tail, wheel to shoulder. The SUV's face is unbroken, grille-less, like a warrior with no mouth to scream. Light bleeds gently from beneath sculpted panels, like molten gold trapped under ice. When the car is asleep, it disappears. When it wakes, it doesn't flash, it reveals. Long vertical blades of soft amber shimmer at the edges of the front fascia. A thin, unbroken line of red halos the rear, not as a brake light, but as an aura. Even when parked, it pulses faintly, like breath. It is impossibly large, yet impossibly graceful. The kind of size that should feel brutish, but instead feels deliberate. The roofline doesn't end, it dissolves into the tailgate. There are no badges, no trim pieces, no look-at-me chrome, just form and intent. The wheels are 26-inch obsidian finished turbines that look like they were designed in a wind tunnel and milled from solid shadow. When they spin, they create the illusion of the car hovering, and maybe it is. Because the longer you look, the more you're convinced this SUV isn't made of matter, but meaning. Approach it, and the SUV senses you. Not with flashing lights, not with gimmicks, but with a breath. The lower body drops a half-inch, releasing tension in the air suspension. A faint hum whispers from beneath, a chord, not a beat. And then silently, the doors unfold. Not out, not up. They glide sideways, like paper doors in a Zen temple, revealing an interior that is not a cabin, but a sanctuary. You step inside and feel your pulse slow. The first thing that hits you isn't the design, it's the stillness. Lincoln didn't just soundproof this vehicle, they exiled the outside world. What's inside is soft light, warm materials, and a sense that someone, finally, remembered that cars could be more than transit. They could be transcendent. The dashboard is carved from a single piece of lunar ash wood, matte finished and veinless, stretching from door to door like a horizon. It glows faintly with embedded ambient strips that respond to your presence, not just movement, but emotion. The AI interface isn't a screen, it's an atmosphere. Projected gently across the wood surface is a living display, translucent, layered, shifting like breath. It shows only what you need when you need it. If you're calm, it stays dormant. If you're stressed, it blooms. It doesn't want your attention. It wants your peace. The seats are sculptural, thin yet wide, minimal yet cocooning, finished in vegan suede and memory carbon weave, soft to the touch, firm in support, and scented subtly with black tea and cedar. The controls are minimal, no buttons, just touch-sensitive pads that appear only when your fingers approach. The steering wheel is gone, replaced by an elliptical ring trimmed in midnight bronze, pressure-sensitive and intuitive to the tilt of your wrist. This SUV doesn't just move, it interprets your intention. It senses your driving habits, your heart rate, your posture. If you're angry, it softens the throttle. If you're fatigued, it adjusts the suspension, reclines your seat, and dims the cabin to forest dusk. If you cry, and I promise in this car you might, it plays a song, a real one, from your past, from your playlist, from your life. The rear isn't an afterthought, it's a throne room. twin reclining seats trimmed in hand-burnished charcoal silk leather, personal dome halos that adjust based on reading angles, fold-out walnut trays inlaid with copper, and a central ottoman that warms or cools your feet. There's no entertainment system in the traditional sense, just immersion, a 360-degree projection chamber that plays ambient landscapes curated by emotion. Want a thunderstorm in Iceland? A night drive through Tokyo? A moonlit desert? Just ask. The cabin becomes it. Underneath the drivetrain is something entirely new. Lincoln calls it 𝑠𝑜𝑢𝑙 Drive, a dual-motor electric system paired with an active supercapacitor ring. Output, 770 horsepower, 900 pound-feet of torque, all available instantly. But you don't feel any of it unless you ask for it. Because this SUV doesn't perform. It glides. 0-60 in under 3.8 seconds, but you'll never test it. Because speed becomes irrelevant. What you'll chase instead is flow. The sensation of gliding through space with no resistance, no turbulence, no effort. Like falling asleep on a luxury yacht that just happens to live on land. Steering is weightless but precise. Braking is regenerative and smooth. The air suspension works so elegantly you feel nothing but serenity. Even over shattered pavement, it doesn't bounce, it doesn't wallow, it floats. The SUV reads the road ahead and shifts its mass accordingly, rising and falling like breath. Always balanced, always listening. There are 3 driving states: whisper, presence, and authority. In whisper, the world fades away. The cabin darkens. The outside is sealed. You move like mist. Pedestrians don't hear you. You become a rumor on 4 wheels. In presence, the lights bloom. The vehicle sits slightly higher. The motor hum deepens. The steering tightens. You become visible, respected. A presence on the road not to be overtaken but honored. In authority, the SUV sharpens. Not in violence, but in conviction. Every action becomes exact. Every throttle press becomes intention. You're not driving fast. You're commanding movement, and the vehicle obeys. It's not just about how it moves. It's about how it makes you feel while it does. Because Lincoln remembers something the others have forgotten. That true luxury isn't in features, but in feeling. In the absence of stress. In the silence between movements. In the dignity of stillness. This SUV isn't built to be fast. It's built to be final. To feel like an arrival. To feel like you've made it. Not in income, not in status, but in soul. Park it and the SUV bows. Literally. The suspension lowers by 2 inches. The lights dim. The glass tints fully black. It ceases to be a car and becomes a sculpture again. A quiet monument to presence. And then you walk away and you feel something rare. You don't want to drive anything else. Not because this is faster, not because it's louder, but because for the first time in years, a car made you feel still. Made you feel like every inch of it was designed to restore you. The 2026 Lincoln Town Car SUV is not a concept for production. It's not real, but I saw it, I felt it. And if this is what Lincoln has hidden in its soul, this dark, beautiful, impossible idea, then maybe the town car never died. Maybe it evolved into a vehicle of memory, of elegance, of emotion. Maybe it became what it always wanted to be. Not a sedan, not an SUV, but a sanctuary. So here it is, black as silence, beautiful as truth. The town car reborn.